Hello and thank you for joining us today to discuss the IT-enabled transformation of Blood Systems Inc. This presentation is brought to you by Allison Rickard, Greg Liraldi, and Steve Parks of Team 11. We appreciate your prior approval to continue with this project analysis, and today we will be requesting funding for the recommended transformation. As senior leadership, you are aware that our industry is currently in decline and our business processes have not been innovative for some time. Meanwhile, the world around us is being transformed by technology. We still need to collect and process blood. However, with the introduction of an enterprise data warehouse, we will now be smarter about the way in which we do it. Being the second largest blood bank within the United States with a substantial market segment, we are in a unique position to implement new technology. We have sought to improve our competitive standing through acquisitions, mergers, and associations with other blood banks. Now, data needs to be better shared through these associations. Further, as we look at industry analysis via the pestle analysis and five forces model, they both point to a market with a surplus and low demand. Based on this analysis, it is even clearer that technology is the main area that the organization can focus on to maintain and increase profitability. The following slides will present the analysis taken that will substantiate our recommendation for an enterprise data warehouse and will show how a single point of truth in terms of data will allow us to work toward the elimination of product waste and improve profits through better allocation of product. With the goal of reaching improved margins, we look at the value chain for blood systems and the areas that can lead towards improvements. Through our research, we have concluded that the area that can offer the highest impact will be found in the support activity of technology. Due to the current pressures seen in the market, it is essential that the company be able to make decisions in the primary activity areas with speed and accuracy. With a single point of truth of information from all the consolidation, mergers, and acquisitions, data management will become the life force of the company, just like the blood products we provide are critical to the life of each recipient. As we strive to improve our relationships with key partners, our key activities need to become more efficient as well. The same technology of data management that can improve our customer relationship will also allow us to reduce our costs, thus improving our revenues. As we strive to make a difference in people's lives by inspiring individuals to donate blood, we also need to improve our supply management and reduce waste of those donations. Through data management, we can improve upon our strengths and be more prepared to take advantage of opportunities. We can improve in areas of weakness, and we can react quicker and more effectively to threats to our company and the industry, such as the current lowered demand for our products. Currently, what is seen across the company, its subsidiaries and partners, is a disconnect in the area of shared data. With our current architecture, each individual blood bank is analyzing and making conclusions on their own data that, although may be correct at that level, is just a piece of the whole. Therefore, there is a high probability that the decisions being made are not the best decisions for the company in its entirety. Although they may appear to be best for the individual bank, they simply are not the best for the organization. For example, on an individual basis, inventories on hand may appear to be appropriate, but as we break down the current as-is process into more detail, it becomes clear that we need a better process. In the current state of the company, each blood bank enters data into their respective application, where it is then written to individual databases. These databases are not standardized and consist of many flavors including SQL, DB2, Oracle, and more. Once each blood bank has written data to their own database, they then query that data with many different BI reporting tools such as Business Objects, ClickView, and Tableau. Again, this is not standardized, causing inconsistencies in reporting and data querying. If the inventory of the entire company is able to be viewed, opportunities to transfer product and eliminate waste are uncovered. In turn, by eliminating waste, company revenues increase, which make each individual bank a more sustainable piece of the entire organization. This new view of company data can be achieved via a new architecture that consolidates all of the individual blood bank databases into a single enterprise data warehouse. Having a single repository will allow for a single point of truth. This new single point of truth will not only allow for improvements in reducing waste, but also for improvements across the entire value chain. Now, as we break down the to-be process into more detail, each blood bank will enter data into their own applications, which is captured in various databases, for example, SQL, DB2, and Oracle. But using Informatica, an ETL tool, the data is extracted from the data sources, transformed into a standardized format, and loaded into an Oracle-based enterprise data warehouse. BI reporting will also be standardized through the use of a single instance of a BI reporting tool called MicroStrategy. Through the creation of a single EDW and a standardized reporting tool, the company now has a single point of truth. The economic impact of this transformation will be seen via the establishment of a single point of truth for the company and its subsidiaries, allowing for better coordination of donors and better management of blood product inventory across the enterprise. In turn, this will lead to increased customer value. Further, because the company can better gauge supply versus demand and better manage product placement, profitability will increase. As enterprise-wide order fill rates can be determined, blood banks can better manage stock on hand, offering more accurate order fulfillment and minimizing waste. Employees can offer greater insight into trends as well as demand forecasting. And an intangible area of profitability that will feel an increase is that of customer and public appreciation. Appreciation for the work being done to improve the ease of donating and the management of waste that increases blood products at the right place, at the right time, for the people in need. Blood Systems is in a unique position within the blood banking industry due to its widespread national presence and position for growth. Current market share includes facilities in 18 states with 75 locations and over 3,000 employees offering 21,000 blood drives a year. All of these items, plus focus on international research, donor testing, and specialized plasma derivative therapies, will allow Blood Systems to continue as a market leader. The proposed technology for providing our single point of truth at a high level is that of an enterprise data warehouse. The data warehouse will be populated with data using ETL processing from various data sources throughout the company. This business intelligence solution will create more sales by allowing users of the data to see where potential sales exist. On a more detailed level, there will be specific software, infrastructure, and architecture requirements. The software required for this transformation will consist of Irwin Data Modeler, a data modeling tool, an Oracle database, Informatica Power Center, which is an ETL tool, and MicroStrategy, which is a BI reporting tool. The data modeling tool will be used to map and maintain the overall architecture of the database. Informatica will then be used to extract data from the source systems, transform the data if need be, and load the data into the Oracle database. Once the data resides in the Oracle database, MicroStrategy can be used to develop reports, documents, and dashboards. The consumption of this data using these tools will now be available enterprise-wide. The infrastructure will consist of various servers on the internal network that will house instances of the transformation software. For each environment, dev, test, and production, there will be a server for each database. There will be 2 additional servers required for the ETL tool and the BI reporting tool, which will be used for all environments. The Irwin Data Modeler will not need a server as it is a desktop application. The architecture will consist of 3 environments: dev, test, and production. While all of these environments will be technically the same, their usage will be different. In the development environment, new tables can be brought into the development database for proof of concept experimentation. Once the developer is satisfied with this work, the change will be migrated to the test environment where all testing is performed. If there are any changes to be made, the developer will then work again in the dev environment to fix the issues. Once the work has been thoroughly validated in the test environment, it can be moved into the production environment. To facilitate this enterprise-wide adoption and to minimize disruption to both our end users and employees, we have structured a comprehensive training strategy which will be discussed on the following slide. The area of skills development and training is broken down into three categories: process training, technology training, and other training. Process training will need to be conducted in a variety of ways. First, inventory control specialists will need to undergo thorough training on how to manage local inventory, as well as how to query data from the enterprise data warehouse in order to see all inventory across the enterprise. It is crucial that the inventory specialists have a broad view of the inventory, product on hand, and where potential sales opportunities exist. Next, order specialists will need to be trained on the new process. Since orders could come from any blood bank within the organization, order specialists will need to be able to know how to react. For example, an order for O-negative blood may come from a hospital 1,000 miles away. Order specialists will need to be able to take that order, query the available resources, and find a way to fill the order. Since orders can come from virtually anywhere, the accounting department will need to understand that the accounts receivable and accounts payable can pertain to any hospital or blood bank the blood system does business with. Accounting will also need to be trained on how to reconcile accounts, not just locally, but all accounts, every quarter and at the end of the year for tax purposes. While each blood bank may have an accounting representative locally, they must understand and report all accounting figures to the blood systems accounting department, as the headquarters accounting department will reconcile all accounts for an enterprise-wide view. Next, delivery crews that handle blood-based product delivery will need to be trained on how to deliver products to faraway locations in relatively short time frames. Typically, delivery crews focused on delivery of product locally. This will have changed. Now, delivery crews must have the ability to use contracted services to expedite delivery of product. If a product is needed 1,000 miles away, it must be delivered timely. In the area of technology training, Blood Systems currently has ETL, data modeling, data warehousing, and MicroStrategy developers on staff. Therefore, there should be no immediate need for IT training in this area. However, there should be an ongoing training program of continuing education of these technologies, as well as the abilities for knowledge transfer. It's important to maintain a high level of knowledge across the organization so as not to lose any valuable skills or knowledge that may not be easily recouped through hiring processes. Other training. End users will need to be trained on how to query the data as well as run reports within MicroStrategy. Further, they will need to be trained on the updated methods of database extraction. Finally, a Train the Trainer program should be implemented to promote ongoing training so as not to lose valuable knowledge moving forward. The expectation of the transformation costs presented on this slide is that these costs will be equalized within 2 to 3 years post-implementation. Revenue will increase by lowering the noise and overhead that accompanies ad hoc data searches. There will be significant improvement to supply chain efficiency, higher quality customer service and customer satisfaction, and lowered fixed costs associated with maintaining multiple databases across individual units within the enterprise. The complete project budget will take into consideration resource and contractor costs specific to implementation, training, and ongoing support. The Enterprise Data Warehouse implementation and maintenance team will be comprised of 1 or 2 IT professionals for each of the roles identified. These identified roles are that of data integration, solution delivery, data modeling and administration, quality assurance, project management, and end-user training. A more complete detailed list of costs has been generated via the work breakdown structure that has been included in the report accompanying this presentation. We anticipate, based on our cost-to-benefit analysis and net present value calculation, that profit margins will continue to appreciate by 1.35 to 1.75% year over year following the deployment. The Enterprise Data Warehouse will also underline our business strategy aimed at growing and expanding the company by adding a new facet of integration to the organization. As we review the financial analysis performed for this transformation project, we would first like to present the most likely scenario. In this scenario, we assume that the year-over-year growth will be 1.5%. This forecast assumes that Blood Systems will have an initial cost of $250,000 and an annual recurring cost of $300,000. The internal rate of return will result in 32.21% with a 10-year profit of $7.7 million. The point at which the company will stop burning cash will be year 4, where a profit of $37,500,000 will be realized. The company will break even during year 8. In the pessimistic scenario, we assume that the year-over-year growth will be 1.35%. This forecast also assumes that Blood Systems will have an initial cost of $250,000 and an annual recurring cost of $300,000. The internal rate of return will result in 13.87% with a 10-year profit of $1.9 million. The point at which the company will stop burning cash will be at the 5-year mark, where a profit of $32,151 will be realized. The company will break even during year 8. Finally, in the optimistic scenario, we assume that the year-over-year growth will be 1.75%. This forecast again assumes that Blood Systems will have the initial cost of $250,000 with the annual recurring cost of $300,000. The internal rate of return will result in 57.54% with a 10-year profit of $32.2 million. The point at which the company will stop burning cash will be at the year 3 mark, where a profit of $62.50 will be realized. The company will break even during year 5 in this scenario. Considering Blood Systems' net income for 2014, which was approaching $4 million in the red, the company is faced with a very important decision. To maintain primary focus on growth and expansion, Blood Systems has no choice but to implement significant improvements towards operational efficiency. As mentioned in the previous slide and is illustrated on this slide, Blood Systems will require 2 to 3 years to reach financial equilibrium based on a most likely scenario and to start realizing marginal gain following the implementation. Monitoring of the transformation will be crucial in determining success. The high-level categories to be monitored will be timeliness measures, effectiveness measures, and conditions for pulling the plug. In the timeliness category, it is critical that the products are delivered within all service level agreements. This means delivery of products must be on time all of the time. Specific measures for timeliness that will be monitored will be the time to delivery to ensure that all agreed upon times are met, and the percentage of cost involved in the delivery of product to ensure that the cost does not outweigh the revenue received from the sale of product. Next, the following metrics will be used to monitor effectiveness. First, sales need to be increased from their current state. Next, revenue from the organization as a whole should improve. Reduction in waste should be observed. And lastly, as customers are a critical aspect of the Blood Systems organization, they will need to be periodically surveyed in order to determine their satisfaction level. Now, while it is highly unlikely that the goals of the transformation would see negative results, the conditions for pulling the plug on the transformation and reverting back to the previous state must be reviewed. The metrics to monitor in this category are revenue, as an enterprise, stays the same or declines. Waste is not reduced. And customer satisfaction is determined to be stagnant and or in decline. However, it should be thoroughly reviewed that any negative results are a direct result of the transformation process and not coincidence before deciding to pull the plug. It can clearly be seen that a single point of truth for company data is a requirement for the company to succeed in today's competitive market, a market that is seeing surplus and decreased demand. The proposed transformation presented thoroughly explains the financial, operational, and human benefits of undertaking this project. The new enterprise data warehouse virtually eliminates waste, improves the ability to manage blood products, and makes supply to need matching more effective. This is a huge change in the terms of cost savings and revenue generation for the company, potentially in the millions of dollars depending on which scenario we see ourselves in. The estimates also show that no matter which scenario the project eventually falls into, there is good reason based on sound numbers to conduct this proposed transformation. Our company has a long history of providing blood-based products to those in need. With the proposed transformation, Blood Systems can work more effectively by allocating resources to where they are needed most. This transformation coincides with the spirit of the company and stands to greatly aid those in need. We therefore request funding to proceed with this single point of truth enterprise data warehouse transformation, and we thank you for your time today.